Tell me a joke.
I mean, I could just tell you the story of your life. That's a joke.
Knocked. Oh, you made
Got
me.
him.
You made me sad.
You made yourself sad,
Life's a
realistically.
circus, and I'm the clown.
Would you join a circus if you could?
What would be my act?
I mean, you can choose.
I
You
would.
would have to choose a man act though, so you can't be the bearded lady or anything. You would have to choose something that you could actually do.
I would ride a tiger.
You would ride a tiger?
Yeah, it would be billed as "Watch Man Get Eaten."
Okay. Would it be like an actual tiger? Like you would just ride a tiger and whatever
No.
happens, happens? Or would
It'd
it
be
be like
two
a
guys in a
trained
tiger
cat?
costume, and they would pretend to
Okay.
eat me at the end.
Okay, interesting. I like it.
Because here at IBC, we do not abuse animals.
Ah, okay.
Only people.
It's very appropriate. I was thinking in like counterculture of the circus, have a strongman act in which it's me and a small person, but we just have I do all of the actual strongman things and he struggles rather than the usual circus, way of the normal looking guy like struggles to do all the things the small guy can do easily. Just go super counterculture with it and flip the script again to the way that people expect it. You'd have to find some way to lead into it where people think they know how the act is going to go based on their expectations,
The
and
small
then you
person
flip the
has to be
script on.
absolutely jacked.
Yeah, that would be a good way of doing it. I come out looking like me, exactly the way I am. We just get some shredded as fuck tiny
belly.
dude. Yeah,
Everything's
my
just
noodle
jiggling.
arms and my everything that sort of wiggles while I walk. Yeah.
He's got the perfect tan. He's just pasty and white. There's a
Of
disclaimer.
of all of the insults there, that one is actually true.
There's the disclaimer, and it says, "Please don't stare directly at him. You'll burn your eyes."
Our strongman is whiter than a paper plate in a plastic cup in a snowstorm. This is your legal warning.
Call it mayo and peanut butter.
Boy, I'll be on you like white on rice. Like a paper plate in a plastic cup in a snowstorm. I will fuck you up.
Well, talks of our circus shows aside, welcome to ABC, episode 99. We're one away from 100. We're not going to do anything special.
We're back. We're not going to do anything special for anything. We're the worst YouTubers of all time. Which we're not even actually YouTubers. We are only YouTubers because we're too dumb to put this on Spotify.
It costs money to put on Spotify. Well, actually,
That's what it was.
no, it doesn't.
Okay.
It doesn't. I don't think it costs money. You just need an RSS feed, and I'm pretty sure I could just make one. But like, it would work.
Exactly. Too stupid and too lazy. So instead, we
Anyways,
put up our podcast on YouTube, known throughout the land as a podcasting platform.
There's a lot of there's a lot of people that use YouTube as for podcasts.
I mean,
Listening
yeah,
and
but they also
producing.
use normal services for podcasts too.
I mean, shut the fuck up. This is episode 99. Don't make me feel bad. I'm Brandon,
I'm Nick.
and we're here to talk about Wait, Listen to Me, Sing Yesterday to Me, and Fruits Basket. These are all great emotional episodes, and Nick agrees.
Oh yeah, sure. Nick agrees all sorts.
And we're gonna start off with sorry, we're gonna start
Wave,
off.
listen to me, I believe.
Yes, Wave, listen to me. I was gonna say Sing Yesterday to Me, and I keep fucking it all up.
Brandon does all of the note taking and still has a worse track record of fucking up sentences than I do.
Okay, listen here, Nick. English
What?
is my second language, sir.
You say this like we didn't go to the same fucking high school that spoke exclusively English.
Am I wrong?
I mean, you're not
English
technically
not
wrong.
my second language?
But are you not better in English than you are in Spanish? And understand that I've heard you speak Spanish.
You don't know what the fuck Spanish sounds like, Nick.
I mean, I know that you pause every third word.
I can speak Latin too.
Barely. You know how to curse and make lewd gestures in Latin.
That got me a point in our Latin, like, decathlon thing. Oh, wait, you
No,
weren't there
yeah.
for that.
I was not.
Remember when you overslept? That was funny. Anyways, yeah, this is Wait, Listen to Me.
So,
Take it away, Nick. Give us your grievances.
okay. So this is an episode in which we have basically two plot lines running.
A little bit more than that at the end.
I guess at the end we do tie into another one. But throughout the majority of this episode, the two sides of it are the creepy lady with her creepy brother and the Yankee dude in the alleyway while they get mugged by the lady's brother. Not actually mugged, but
That was a mugging. That was a straight up mugging.
yeah, I mean it kind of was. It was actually just an attempted murder.
Oh, that's it. Yeah.
Mugging
So,
implies he was trying to take his money.
yeah, there was
But
the
yeah, there's
attempted
that
murder.
going down. And then on the other side of town, we have Minare doing the radio show that we saw in episode
Yeah,
1.
during her second radio show, and we see parts that weren't actually in the first episode.
Yeah.
Specifically when she talks to her father as part of the first bit.
Mhm.
Which
And we
is
see a little bit of like the setup to it as she talks about in the booth and goes a little bit crazy about men in the booth and how she's going to turn into like an Amazon warrior woman and
Yeah.
forsake men.
she wants her podcast, or not podcast. She wants her radio her radio show to become kind of like a feminist icon,
Yeah.
and then she completely just abandons it almost immediately.
So yeah, we have that going on, and then we also have Minare in the very beginning. We have Minare basically as an opening bit deciding that she wants to be a monk, and then deciding instead that she's going to become a man so that she can marry the assistant director and they can have children together.
Yes.
So that's also another running thing that's going on.
She really
Given the
wants to
tone of
marry
the
him.
show, have no idea if that's serious or not. It absolutely, like, by the end of the show, she could just full on marry that girl and they could live like a happy life together. And I'd be like, that's the ending.
Yeah.
It was actually Yuri all along ending. Fuck it. Why not?
Right now,
So-
she's got two prospective, I guess, partners. She's got the Yankee
Yeah.
dude. Well, he's just the backup. Really,
It's just there. Yeah,
the top contender is Mizuho. I'm pretty sure that's her name.
I think so.
But her top contender is certainly not Minare.
No. Because yeah, there's some plot lines that I was reminded of, which is that the assistant director has a thing for the sound dude who we saw like
Who
7
also has a thing
episodes
for
ago
her.
and then disappeared. Yeah, he also had a thing for her.
They both have a thing for each other, but Mizuho is just a bit more
Reserved about love.
more reserved, more anxious about it, and the
Yeah.
dude just wants to get it in. I say that, but he just wanted to kiss her, and maybe get it in. We don't know.
But like, it was a plot line.
Was it a
4
plot line or
or
was it more just
5?
like
I mean, okay, it was a plot point. It was a moment. There was a moment. There was screen time for this. Okay.
it's set up for something else that may or may not happen.
In any other regular show, that would have been the hook to a plot line. Instead, because it's this show, that was just something that happened 7 episodes ago that today they were like, fuck it, this is going to come up again for no reason.
It could still be
This
the
show-
hook. It could just still be setting up for something that happens later on.
It could be, but holy shit. This show is fucking god tier at just creating plot lines and then fucking off and never dealing with them again.
There's a lot of holes and a lot of pies and a lot of fingers in those holes right now.
Yeah, seriously. Because this is something we brought up in multiple episodes, but we have the other like radio show host,
Yeah.
who we met back in episode 1
first
or
lady.
episode 2, and she looked all shady, and it was definitely like she's plotting something, and there was a moment of her like talking to the director about like that new girl, and she definitely held that feeling of like, I'm gonna do something.
Like,
We
she
have
might be an
not fucking
antagonist.
seen her. Yeah, we've not seen that lady for like 5 fucking episodes.
I think even more than that. And we have a third of the show left.
Yeah. We have 3 or 4 episodes, and that lady is nowhere to be seen. Except for in the intro. She's important enough to somehow make it as one of the female cast of the intro.
And the outro.
And the outro. Like, I just don't fucking understand this show. The sound guy is also in the outro.
In the intro.
Or he's in the intro.
At some point.
He shows up in the fucking, like, the male sign, or the male scene. Like, they have a little, like,
Yeah.
boy band pose thing that they all do. He's there. Like, he's one of the 5 dudes. One of the other dudes is the fucking apartment tenant. Don't know why he's there. He's not
Yeah.
super important.
He's not. Well, he did have an arc for him. There's
I mean,
that
yeah,
at
but
least.
fucking, from the looks of it, we're about to have an arc with fucking Minare's ex-boyfriend, but he wasn't there, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but the guys in the boy band, like, they're like part of the okay group of guys. People who haven't fucked Minare over yet.
Or just fucked Minare yet. But this show just creates plot lines and then says, "Fuck it, it's your decision to figure out which one of these are going to be important."
Fun.
Like there are whole things. I complained like 4 or 5 episodes of ABC ago about the fucking the curry plot line. Thankfully, it was resolved within an episode. But there was like a whole plot line in one episode about the curry at the curry store and how like it came to be with like the guy going off and training with a master of curry. There was a whole fucking plotline that in the course of 20 minutes we started and ended. That's how
So,
fucking brief that plot was.
what were those scenes about the curry or about how Minare and the one dude interact?
I mean, it was about the curry. Like the intro to that episode was just the master and the curry guy talking about curry,
Did
and
we
then there was
actually see
another
the
scene
master
of
guy? Or
yeah,
sorry.
we actually saw them like off in some
Oh wait,
probably
right,
China
right. The
type place.
the the flashback.
Yeah,
Sorry, I thought
like
like he
there
was
was
actually in the
actually a
restaurant.
scene of them just talking about making curry at like a high level, and then there was a scene of them setting up the booth with like from the perspective of the son of the master as he's like crying about it.
Right, right.
Like there were moments of that episode where they just are scenes to do with the curry. It was so fucking dumb. And I complained about it then, and I'm bringing it up now because this is what this show does. It just creates plot lines for no fucking reason. And so now we have Creepy Lady's brother, and we've now talked about it like in the last two episodes of ABC. And Creepy Lady's brother shows up in this episode as like a climactic moment of her having to face down her brother and decide like I want to go and do my thing. I don't want to go back into like fucking being kidnapped by you,
No,
or
being
she's not a
fucking
child anymore.
not even
Be
kidnapped.
abducted.
Wait, you can still be. Oh, I guess the word is abducted. I was like, you can still be kidnapped even if you're not a kid.
You,
Oh,
you kidnapped me, bitch. You're a child. I abducted you.
no, bitch, you're not a child. I abducted
Bitch, you're not a child. I abducted you. That's what it was. I'm sorry. I fucked that up.
you. Yeah, she doesn't want to be basically locked in the basement again.
Yeah. Um, and so we have this whole moment of lady whose name I've forgotten, but I'm going to continue to call Creepy Lady Brother Mystery Lady. She like has to have this whole moment of deciding what she wants to do and standing up for her brother, and then saving the Yankee from being choked out as the brother goes crazy because he loses his consciousness anytime that he has to protect his sister. That dude has fucking problems.
I
We'll
don't
talk
think
about
it's
that in a second.
he loses consciousness when he protects his sister. It's that if he feels his sister's in danger, he loses consciousness and then becomes I don't know, fucking Street Fighter character.
Unhinged, mentally unstable. Yeah.
Yeah,
But like there's this whole climactic moment of this happening. This could not be important. Potentially this could not be an important moment. We could just ignore all of this. Like there's no proof that this is going to be relevant to Minare in any way or like factor into our story. This is a plot line which just sort of exists in the context of this show that I don't understand. Like these are just two other characters in this show that are just having their own adventure that the show is showing us. And I don't understand why yet. Like I'm liking it. I want to see where it goes. Maybe it'll connect back to Minare by the end. So I'm willing to like give them enough rope to hang themselves with. But like there is every fucking possibility that this plot line will just play itself out and Minare will never get involved.
this is true. I'm definitely interested to see how and if they somehow tie it back in. Because right now, at the end of the episode, we actually find out that the next arc piece still has nothing to do with creepy brother lady. It actually
Yeah.
has to do with Mitsuo, who's now coming back and
Mhm.
trying to repay what's her face, Minare.
So there is every possibility that creepy brother lady is going to just make a decision and stay with the Yankee dude, or they're going to run away or take over the curry shop or do something else. And Minare is never going to get involved, never going to have to do like a radio show about them, not going to do like an on the spot investigation where they talk to the brother about like, dude, why are you so fucked up?
What the fuck is wrong
What's
with you?
what's wrong with your head? Like there is every possibility that will never happen, and instead it will just end. Like they will have their own moment. And for a show where like it's supposed to be Minare's show, if Minare doesn't get involved in this plot line, I'm gonna complain in 3 episodes or 4 episodes of ABC from now. I'm gonna complain about why the fuck are they showing us this? Because it's not fucking important if Minare's not getting involved.
It,
Like it's a mildly interesting plot line that I just don't care about if Minari is not involved, not going to get involved at some point.
right. And yeah, we just don't know yet. We just
Yeah,
don't know.
and like I said, I'm willing to give them enough rope right now for them to hang themselves with, but like
But
with the track record of
four
this
more
show,
episodes.
yeah, 3 or 4 more episodes with the track record of this show, if this could just play itself into nothing. This could just come to an end with the lady being like, "I'm gonna continue to work at the curry restaurant," and that's just how it ends.
Has anything else played it like just worked into nothing though, aside from the curry thing that ended in that one episode?
I mean, until we see anything to
Yeah.
do with that, the other radio host, that whole like there was a couple scenes with her that are unimportant at the moment, and there was the sound director and the assistant director driving home together, and then there talks about, well, I guess Minari's talks with her about love and relationships, tie more into Minari's crush on the lady, but still, like there was another couple minutes of that which has not come up again because we haven't even seen the sound dude since that episode.
It
He
definitely
just
feels
showed up this episode. He was basically a bit character in this episode, and that's the only reason why he exists.
it definitely feels like each character actually has their own story. Because right now there's the producer and his thing with the old Minare, whatever she was,
Uh huh.
the scriptwriter and his like wanting to leave, Mizuho and her crush with the sound guy. They're kind of, both of them are related. Yankee Dude is just kind of there to play second fiddle to any story he's part of. He doesn't
Yeah.
really have his own story. He's just there to help out.
Hmm.
And then yeah, what's her face? Creepy Brother Mystery has her own story. So there's like about five-ish stories right now going on, and I'm not counting the other host, because we haven't seen her in Broken Forever.
There was another story that came up. It wasn't even really a story. It was just a moment, but it was a moment with enough detail. Which now that I remember it, I'm annoyed about it now. About the hired on part timer who got arrested for stealing for stealing
Oh,
opiates and selling them to a drug dealer.
okay. For that, like that's the joke though.
That was just a joke, but like it then ties back into the guy who got hired, like the assistant dude who had to get hired, and they got hit by a car because of it. Like all of it is connected, and that dude is now important. Like everything about this show is so fucking weird.
Well, you
Like
can't
stuff
complain
just
about.
happens.
Well, you can't complain about that. I definitely do like just talk that up as a joke, because now they do have an extra person to help them out, who's
Yeah,
replaced her,
I
which
mean
is.
it definitely was just a joke, and like it was
But the whole thing
just
about being so fucking like detailed about it, I
yeah.
really liked it. I liked it personally, liked it because I thought it was so fucking funny.
I mean, it was a funny fucking like it was a good joke, but like for how detailed it was, it then just ties back into like that could have been a whole plot line in and of itself. Was that dude stealing fucking meth or not methamphetamines,
Watch the,
morphine?
watch that
The
come
dude,
back. Watch this all come back somehow.
yeah,
I'd
the
be
drug dealer that he was
impressed.
selling the morphine to was actually Minari's ex boyfriend.
That's why she's got. That's why he's got the money.
That's why he's got the money. Somehow, like it's all gonna be connected. I still haven't gone back to that one episode of her doing the nighttime radio broadcast where she's like the crazy murderer lady, and to check if to see if the dude in that show was or in that episode was Minari's ex boyfriend. Like
Or
that
just
could
some other
also
guy
be
named
part of it.
Mitsu. Yeah.
Yeah, that could be part of it. Was this dude almost got killed by his other girlfriend? Like there is so much in this show that just happens as like a joke, and at the same time is like that could be a whole fucking plot right there. Was that dude like almost getting killed by his girlfriend and then leaving to go find his ex? That's a whole plot line. We'll
Well,
never fucking talk about it.
well, you may be annoyed by all that. I feel like that adds charm to this show. I'm charmed by how it's going about doing all those.
I mean, the jokes are good. I am saying it in a very strong tone of voice because I'm worked up, but the jokes in it are good. The plot lines we're leaving behind that they are actually setting up as plot lines are fucking annoying.
We don't know if they're leaving them behind just yet, though.
It's true. Until we get the end of the or to the end of the show, we
Yeah.
don't know what has fully been left behind. But
It,
some of them, the curry one, I'm genuinely kind of annoyed by. That one kind of pissed me off,
okay.
and I
Uh,
yelled about it back then. But I will
uh,
reiterate my point of it was 5 minutes of the show that did not fucking matter.
and at least to put it to the show's credit, we don't. Some of these might end to nothing, mostly because there's more manga to go through. So
Hmm.
that just might be that. At least that would actually be an error in an adaptation in the adaptation. If they're not expecting to have a second season, that's the part those are like side plots that you can just cut out,
Yeah,
unless you really want to adapt them. But I guess at that point, it's the director's
I mean at that
choice.
point though, if you're doing an adaptation and removing aspects of the plot for like picking out the stories that you want to do or you feel like are the funniest or the best to like tell in the form of an anime or whatever, like whatever reason they're choosing these stories and maybe leaving some others behind. If they are leaving some behind, but like still leaving in some of the moments of the plot hooks for those arcs, then whoever it is that's making the decisions, the director or whoever it is that's designing the storyboards or at whatever point along the line, somebody needs to do a better job of like streamlining the plot towards where they're going. Like if these are plot moments or like plot arcs in the source material that we're not going to see in the anime because of decisions to just skip past them for whatever reason, they need to do a better job then of like smoothing past those points. Like we don't need to see the announcer lady, the other presenter, be all shady and suspect if we're never going to deal with her. I mean,
Right.
that is just a at like a director level or a storyboard, like a the producer level of the show. They would need to do a better job.
I
Assuming that that's what this is, they would need to do a better job of making these decisions to make it more streamlined.
I would argue that having that would be more beneficial though, because that adds a hook to get people to actually read the manga. It'd be detrimental to the show, but well, that's
Yeah,
what,
but
it'd
that's
be
the thing.
detrimental to the show, but it'd be good for trying to hook people in.
It might be good for the manga, but I think in the form of telling the story of the show in the best way, you need to make decisions for the show, not for bringing in people to the manga by
Getting
leaving out parts of the
cash
plot.
money.
Yeah, by telling the first 1/10 of a story and then saying better go read the manga if you want to see the rest of it. That feels a little bit shady and suspect. We yelled about fucking Orisuke before about doing this basically the same thing of ending the show with better go see the OVA, better go
Well,
pay me money for the
yeah,
OVA so you can
buy
see the
the
rest of the
fucking
show.
Blu-ray.
That fucking enraged me. But I think on the large, like you said, I was saying in a very strong tone, but I do think a lot of the jokes in the show are good. Even when they are, like I said, it could be a plot line to a whole nother show, but it is just a joke in the show. They're done really well. I really like them. There is, on the other hand, some moments that do genuinely annoy me of like they create these plot lines and then maybe they'll show up again until we get to episode 12 and we're done with the show. I don't know that they're done. Like I don't know that they've left these behind fully, but it feels so weird to have those moments in like episode 3 that in episode 11 they're going to be like, hey, remember that like 30-second scene of the other announcer looking shady? Hope you remember it because it's going to come up again in episode 11. Like that feels like you could connect those two a little bit more cleanly.
She'll definitely become a bigger thing once she starts picking up popularity.
I don't even know if we're going to get to there. We have like
Right.
4 episodes left. We don't even know how popular Minari is the other thing.
In terms of the grandness of the actual story, like including the manga, that's probably when she comes back. Is once she's kind of had an audience, and the
Yeah.
host starts to get either jealous or Minari gets to be, put in the limelight a bit more.
Mm.
But right, I don't think we're ever gonna get to that
I
in
really
the
don't think
anime
so
at
either
least.
in the anime. But yeah, Minari, this show is just unhinged at times.
Right, and something else we should talk about is Minari's name. That's quickly the last thing we talk about. In as part of the second show, before the bear stuff, she calls her dad to find out where her name came from as a bit in the show. Her dad tells her two stories. One is that one day he went to the library to go pick up a list of baby names. He got distracted and started to go into the risque section. He looked at a mature women's magazine, I guess. I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah,
There was a lot of magazines and a lot of subtitles to read through, and that's the one it closed up or had a close up on. And
Japanese MILFs.
yeah, and that's where he got the name for Minare. And then
Yeah,
she rightly got pissed off and said, "You're a fucking asshole." And he's like, "Ha, I'm just fucking joking. Here's the real story. I had three mistresses. One of them was me something or other. A Japanese name, so I don't
I
know
mean, yeah,
exactly.
that's all that was really relevant. It was me something or other, and
It
when
was
we
Na
broke up, she
something
was
and then
like,
Ray
"Name
something.
your daughter after me," and
Yeah,
then Na something or other, and
name
she
your
also
dad
said,
after
"Name your
me."
daughter after me," and then Ray something or other, and she said, "Name your daughter after me, or I'll blackmail you."
Then he
And
finally
so
shows
when
up
he
to the birth. He's like, "Fuck, I don't know what to do." Me, Nare. Boom. Perfect.
named him after all three, nailed it. Still 5. Yes. So yeah, that's where he claims her name came from, and this causes Minare to basically say she's going to turn into an Amazon warrior woman and fuck all men because men are garbage.
Yep.
So the feminist icon of "Wave, listen to me" will live on as a bastion for the empowerment of women. We then go on and do the bear show, and thankfully it does just enough to remind you, like, yep, there's a bear show. She talks about a bear, and then fast forwards through the episode one
Yeah.
scenes
With the
to get
breaking the
straight to the
fourth
end.
wall.
Yeah, and get straight to the end, and we have a little moment of the producer and the head writer, I guess,
A
in the
writer, yeah.
hallway
But yeah, the
as they
writer
talk about
sounds like he's
some
leaving.
sort of award that's been created. And so we have an award named after presumably the producer's sort of ex-girlfriend, the old really famous radio host that we heard about
Yep, and she comes
episode 4 or something.
back in a flashback at the end of the episode. Or, cool, no. Halfway through the episode.
Yeah. No, it's at the end of the
At the
episode.
end? Okay. At the end of the episode, we have a flashback where she's talking in a really weird intonation. Like, did you pick up on that? Because it didn't sound like her normal voice.
Who are we talking about?
Uh,
Into the flashback?
yeah, the flashback lady.
I mean, we don't really know what her normal voice is, though.
I feel like we had heard her voice before, but
I
even
mean, we've
then,
only heard it like once in like a very short scene. I don't really know what her voice sounded like in that scene.
her voice in this like flashback sounded very robotic.
Well, I mean, it did have a very like old timey look to the flashback,
Yeah,
which was something I was going to ask about. Like, it's a very weird decision to present a flashback in this way.
I feel like it's a normal way, like having black and white in a flashback. You know,
Well, it wasn't black and white; it was sepia, and
right.
it was more like the silent, like it was done in a more like silent film way. It wasn't fully silent because it was her saying the lines, but it was like separated from her voice because like their mouths would move and then the line would come up in text and somebody would start reading it. It's like it was done in a sort of weird way.
Because it's memory. I don't know.
I mean, it was just a very like it was a very not bizarre, a very abnormal way to present a flashback. And so watching it, I was just wondering why like that was the decision for
Okay.
this is how the flashback is going to be presented. Because it's very stylized, but it was very different. Like
Okay.
very few things do flashbacks in that way. And so it really just stood out to me as like, this is a weird way to present it. I wonder why they made this decision.
Huh. I guess we gotta do a little flip floppity. Because I definitely picked up on the sound more because I thought that was a little weird. But anyways, she's talking about like this little she's giving telling a short story to a guy who's sitting next to him or next to her who may or may not be the producer or the dad. I don't know yet.
Yeah, we don't know.
Yeah, I'm guessing it's the producer because they probably knew each other beforehand, but it could also be the dad. I don't know. And one reason we think it's his dad is because this is where the name Minari comes from, which means like that she wants everyone to laugh, and that was like the last line she says was Minare.
So we now maybe that's where her voice came, or Minari's name came from. If that was the dad, or maybe it's just another reason why the producer really likes Minare is because she has a really abnormal name. That when he heard it, he was reminded of his old maybe girlfriend, maybe just person he had a crush on, and he thought to himself like, "We'll make everyone laugh."
Right. Could also be both. Not it
It
can't
could.
not like the both producer and the dad, but the dad could also be have been a fan. Um, and she could have had like a joke about with Minare in the joke and pick up on that.
Yeah.
But who knows? We'll find out more maybe if the show ever gets back to this plot point or this little piece of information.
Yeah. This is like the second time we've now seen this lady, so maybe we'll find out more about her. Maybe we won't. I mean, we're creating an award in her name, so I'm assuming we're gonna have to like bring up like this is this lady and this is what she did and this is why there's an award in her name and like
She died in
tell
a
us
plane
more
crash.
about her. She probably died in a plane crash.
Probably. I
But
thought she did that. I thought we know that she died in a plane crash.
there was okay. So we know that the plane went down, and we
Yeah.
know that she hasn't been found. I don't think it was one of those like I don't remember really, but I feel like part of it was also like her body was never recovered.
Oh, I thought it was, and then she died in a plane crash.
I was imagining it more as like and then the plane went down in the ocean, and
Okay.
then nobody's gonna survive that. But I mean, we also didn't find them.
You don't know that.
Very much like that flight that went down in
Malaysia.
whatever, yeah, Malaysia.
Well, not Malaysia.
Where everybody looked at it and went, they're definitely all dead. We just don't know where they are.
In the
So,
Marina's Trench.
I
Marina?
think that's the wrong side of the ocean.
Not Marina. Marinara? Not Marinara.
I
This
The
would be
Marinara
the
Trench.
Marinara Trench, whatever. They're in the Marinara Trench. But
I think
anyways,
that's the wrong side of the ocean. I think it's the wrong side of the world. I think the Marinara Trench is in the Atlantic.
no, it's in the Pacific. It's right next
Is it?
to Australia.
I did not know that.
I might be wrong. Who knows? We'll look that up after this episode. But anyways, yeah, that was way listen to me. And then we'll continue on to sing yesterday to me. Oh, that's why I keep fucking those two up because they've got to me in them. So my mind's like, it flippily flops them.
Right? I can believe that.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah, sing yesterday to me. Nick has words to say about this,
Yeah.
but nutshell, our main character walks two girls home twice in the first half and the second
Each.
half. Yes.
Um, yeah. So we start off with the continuation of the end of last episode,
There was no pretty
where
fucking.
yeah, he went up to her apartment, but like right at her door, she was like, "I changed my mind,"
Yes.
and he basically went, "Okay," and
Oh
went home.
well. And he goes
Very
home.
legitimate. I can respect that. The next day, he goes home with Haru instead, not to her house, but just walks her home because she was waiting for him, and they have a short-ish conversation about I don't even fucking remember, but it wasn't very important.
Well, most importantly, she showed up at his house and was, I guess, kind of implying that she wanted to go up to his room.
Yeah,
Kind of
but instead,
tying both the
yeah,
things together.
he showed up sort of with the "take me to bed" eyes, and he was basically just said,
You're not
"I'll
Shinako.
walk,
Get out of here.
I'll walk you home instead." We then
You're not
walk
a teacher.
Shinako home again, and nothing happens this time, but they have a nice conversation. In the background of all of this, there's like some other B plots, by the way, getting somewhat distracted from all the walking home that happens. There's like a B plot of Shinako and the other kid as she like shows up to his house a whole bunch, but I guess never actually interacts with him because they have like a
No.
very pointed interaction later.
He does. No, she mentions that she just has not gone back to his house for quite a while. The ending scene that we see is her going back after about 2 weeks.
But she was definitely there earlier. Like she shows up and makes food for the dad. Unless the dad came to her apartment,
Yes,
which has
actually,
all sorts of other implications.
sorry, I'm remembering that now. I believe that was the day afterwards, but there is a stretch of time where she doesn't go back
Yeah,
because she doesn't
but
want to
like
interact
there was
with Ro.
definitely a scene where she shows
Yeah,
up and
I am remembering that
makes
now.
food, but I guess leaves before the kid gets back.
Yep.
So maybe it was more of like a I haven't seen him at his place in a while.
Oh no, it's the same scene that we're thinking of. Because she says, "Oh, good, now I can leave." Because the dad's there. She makes the food, and he says, "Okay, cool, I have to leave." And he says, "Okay, great, I'll leave before Ro comes." And then Ro
Okay.
shows up. So I believe we're thinking of the same scene, which just happens at the end.
Yeah, well, there's also the one at the end where Road now shows up and Shinako looks at him and they have like a very pointed moment of like I'm home, you're home, I'm home. So there's a lot of like there's this whole B plot of that's going on in the background that we never actually explore in any meaningful way. We just basically acknowledge that it's happening through shots of Shinako making food for people in that apartment.
But I
But
think
that's like
more
two or
important
three scenes that happen.
is that she's talking with her other teacher friend. And her teacher friend is
Yeah.
just telling her to go fuck the kid, or not
No,
the kid. Go fuck the other
Yeah.
guy,
Rikuo.
Rikuo. And she keeps saying no. And she keeps saying yes, do it. Have some more beer or have some more sake.
Sake, yeah.
Same thing
But
with.
yeah, so there's that whole B plot, and then Haru largely doesn't have a B plot going on in this episode. Largely doesn't have a plot going on anymore. I was going to complain about this through the first 15 minutes of the show. Haru, outside of like one episode in the show, okay, so like we had the first two episodes where like Haru did a whole bunch as we like got introduced to the concept of Haru, and she was super mysterious. I complained about the bird thing, and I think yesterday or last week I complained about the bird thing, but like in the first two episodes of the show, Haru like had more of an involvement, and then there was the one episode with the camera dude who had a thing for Haru, where she had a lot of importance. Other than those like three episodes, Haru just is not involved in the show.
Yeah, right now it's
Like,
definitely been more Shinako and Rikuo doing their little dance where they're trying to fuck each other but don't.
yeah. And like I really don't know what this show is shooting for anymore. Because at the beginning of the show, if you were like, who are the main characters? I would have told you it's Rikuo and Haru with Shinako as like a supporting character.
And then Ro
Now
in the
I'm like,
background, just hoping he doesn't show up again.
Yeah, and now I'm like, I guess the main characters are Shinako and Rikuo, with Haru as like a B level main character, and then Ro as like a supporting character. Like I no longer have a firm understanding of who is the most main character of the main characters, other than Rikuo, and even he in this show does, or in this episode, does basically nothing. He walks four girls home, or walks two girls home four times total, and in the meantime, in a like 30-second montage, does a whole bunch of photography stuff and has a good time and meets all of his coworkers and decides this is what he wants to do with his life and quits his other job off screen. We don't ever see him quit the job and get the other job full time. We don't see that happen
We do.
either.
We see him get the little piece of paper.
Do we see him get the full time job?
Yes, in like a scene.
Okay.
It's 1 second
Okay.
scene.
I missed that one.
It happens at the end of the montage.
Okay. Yeah. There is like all sorts of fucking shit that happens with Rikuo that it just sort of occurs all at once, and I still don't fucking understand this show. Like it's good and the characters are compelling and I want to know where it's going, and like I yell about this because I want it to, I just want the story to make sense, damn it.
Well, because the story is just them talking to each other. There's no other plot other than the issues they have. Their interpersonal issues.
I mean, yeah, but at the same time, we watched 20 minutes of show today and ended up exactly where we started. We ended up with him sort of happy with Shinako and sort of questioning his like relationship with Haru. There is no fucking character development in the show.
I think he's
Like,
also questioning his relationship with Shinako too. By the end of it,
like he's like kind of, but not even at the same time. Like he's just getting closer to Shinako as Shinako opens up more to him. So he's saying to himself, like, I guess this is a thing that's happening now. Like there isn't, like that's the other thing that's been bugging me, and I yell about it like every week, is episode like fucking 2 or 3, they have the whole like we can't be friends anymore, we have to not be friends, we have to break up. It's so fucking shitty. This is still going on. And Rico is just like letting this happen. And this whole show, I don't like, I want it to be better. I just want the plot to make more sense and like go somewhere and do something.
Would you want a pity fuck?
I mean, oh god, I don't know.
Maybe you want
Probably
some more
not.
drama?
No, I just want, okay. This is what I want. Shinako sort of is growing as a character. She like is doing the whole like overcoming the dead dude and all of that stuff. Haru is not a character. We don't know anything about her past. We don't know anything about what she's doing. We know very little about her emotional state other than the fact that she's in love with Rikuo. So like learning anything about Haru would be ideal, because then she would actually become a character in my mind.
Yeah, right now she's kind of annoying.
Yeah, she has a bird. That's her character.
It didn't show up this episode.
It has not shown up in like 5 episodes.
Maybe the bird died.
The bird, I'm sorry, it has showed up in a few other episodes. I forgot that. It shows up like accidentally in a couple of episodes. So I think the bird is still hanging around. But again, that is her character, is Haru, the lady with the bird who ran away from home. Those are her 2 characters. So like learning more about Haru and her actual character, that would be cool. Like meeting Haru the person, not just Haru the sort of angsty, annoying person. Yeah.
Can't take it.
Like I want to learn more about Haru the character in the way that we know about Shinako the character, with her whole like thing with the dead dude and thing with Rikuo and thing with Ro. Like learn more about actual Haru and her mom with her boyfriends and all of that. Like there is a plot there. There is a Haru story we could do that we're not fucking doing. I'm yelling about story that we're not doing again. Because these shows don't just have the same title, they have the same problems. Oh god. But yeah, like learn about Haru the character, or we could do like Rikuo stuff and actually like focus on what Rikuo is doing with like deciding where he wants to go with his life, and he's making decisions about like becoming a photographer. And we could do Rikuo things, but we're just not fucking doing Rikuo things either.
Because I think right now we're doing Shinako things, and now we're gonna at some point move focus to one of the others.
We've been doing Shinako things since like episode 4 or 3.
Well, I feel like
we've
there's
been
a high
Shinako thing for so long.
I feel like there's been a bigger focus on her for these last 2-3 episodes.
I mean, there really has. You're not wrong.
But I think at some point we are going to start to shift. Because yeah, Haru was there big time for the first couple episodes, and now she more or less feels like she can't take a hint because Rico's definitely not trying to do anything with her.
Yeah, that's the thing. I because we deal so little with Haru, we don't know what's going on with their relationship. Like it's just Haru shows up at night and bugs Rikuo, and then they walk home and have some vaguely interesting conversation. And in this episode, we finally have the one conversation where they basically talk for a second about like, oh, like I don't want you to be, I want you to be more safe at night. Don't come, walk home with me every day because I don't want you to get like mugged and all of that.
Yeah, because I work late.
And Haru has the moment of like, oh, I understand that you're being all safe in that, but like, think about how I'm feeling, and then like runs away. Like it still hurts to hear you say that. And like, it just it doesn't feel good. Like even bad moments like that, bad from like a how it impacts the characters in like a depressing way. Like even moments like that should feel compelling. Like like oh the conflict and the characters are getting somewhere. And like even in this moment, it was one of those moments of like Haru didn't just run away because he said don't show up. She actually listened to like the whole I want you to be safe, and she was instead like she acknowledged like I understand that you want me to be safe, but it still hurts you. It hurts me to hear you say like don't walk home with me and like don't see me every day because I want to see you every day. Like I was cool with it. All of that scene for all of the 3 minutes that it was or whatever it was, I was really cool with. It was a solid scene, but it just was not fucking compelling because we have not done Haru and Rikuo things for so long that their relationship is just like they're two people who are vaguely friends and the one has the crush on the other, but we don't ever talk about it. Like there's no progress that goes on in their relationship because all of the progress in relationships has been focused on the Riku Shinako side of things. That the Riku Haru side of things, like I just don't feel that was a compelling moment. Like it was a good moment from like a perspective of telling a story, and I was like, this is cool. Haru's actually listening. But like other than that, like vague interest in Haru was paying attention, it just wasn't fucking compelling.
I feel like the show might be better if it started to butt both the Shinako and Haru storylines, right?
Yeah,
Kind of
that was some good stuff in the first couple
cross
episodes
them up a little
where
bit.
yeah, Haru and Shinako talk about like how they used to be, teacher student and Haru dropped out of school to do whatever she did and the whole like I'm declaring war on you stuff. There gonna be some solid stuff with the Haru and Shinako interacting, but that hasn't happened since like episode 2.
Oh right, also Haru and Ro have only met each other once.
Yeah, there's all sorts of stuff that we could do that we're just not doing, and I want the show to be better than it is. Like I want there to be actual like for a relationship drama romancy type show, like I want there to be more like character driven action rather than just like what it feels like is I mean it is a fairly genuine depiction of a very like casual relationship of these like three people in a weird love triangle type deal. Like it feels like a fairly genuine depiction of that, but at the same time like because it's such a genuine action, it's not super compelling. Things take place very slowly. This episode was like a total of 5 days because it was just they went to work and then had a 10-minute interaction after work, and that was all they did all day. Was they had that one interaction. He had like one conversation with one person, then went home and went to sleep. And it's just not very compelling because like very little progress is being made.
Would you say that this show has gotten the complete opposite direction of Domestic no Kanajo?
I would say so, yeah. Where Domestic No Joe was just very in your face about like the characters were constantly like getting into some stuff and talking about something, and there was always like somebody that he was like vaguely antagonistic toward, or like they had a bad relationship and somebody else that he was trying to like make a good relationship with, and there's always something they were building on, and like there's always something to do in that show. In this show, it feels very much the opposite of like yeah, there's some vague stuff to do. Like Rico has to find a job or like a career for his life, and Haru has to figure some stuff out with her life. But like, it's no big thing. Everything's super casual. Shinako's got some weird dead dude troubles, but who cares? And like we talked about it before, we've got no idea like how long the time frame of this show has been. It could have been like several months in story time since the first episode. We've got no sense of like how long stuff has been going on for. it just doesn't feel like their relationships aren't super compelling yet. And like that's what I wanted to be. Is I wanted to be something where it's like I care about, like I'm emotionally invested in the progress of these characters. Like I want to see them together. As it stands, like the only investment I have is from the perspective of like, I mean, it's kind of an interesting show. I want to see where they're going with it. I want to see if like where the relationships are going to end by the end of it because I care just enough to see how it's going to end. But like I don't really care if he ends up with Haru or doesn't, or ends up with Shinako or doesn't. Like, I don't really care about any of them. I'm not rooting for any of the characters to like have a great life, do something cool. Like, if they all go their separate ways at the end, who cares? Like, I'm not invested in these relationships because they're just not really showing them to
I
us.
feel like that might be the point, though, is to kind of garner that emotion. Is it's okay if they kind of just mellow out for the characters. I mean, like, and their
Mhm.
issues and their kind of paths in life.
I think there's a better way to do that though. I think just leaning into the like it would be okay if the characters just went their separate ways. I think they're leaning too hard into it. Like I get that it's a fine way for it to end, but at least have me compelled in the meantime about like what's going on. As it stands, I've got a vague disinterest about any of these relationships. Like it's beyond not just being okay if they do end up separate and full on like I fully do not care how it ends. So it's not even like I would be satisfied with the ending. It's just I kind of want to see how it ends. Like them ending up apart is a fine ending, but I'm not any more caring if they end up together or not. Like, and that's just not a good place to be. Your audience shouldn't be dissatisfied with like how it ends, or like they shouldn't be blasé about how it ends. I should say.
Hey,
You
Blase's
want them to
back.
at least
Sorry, it's your word. I'm sorry.
what? Oh, did I say blasé a lot?
Blase. You haven't said
Fuck,
it
I'm
in a, you
sorry.
haven't said it in a while, but it's come back.
Damn it. I like the word.
It's a
It's
good word.
it's small enough syllables that I feel okay because I've talked about this before about the fact that I kind of consciously use like two syllable words at most of the time. And it's just the right number of syllables, and at the same time, it makes me feel smart. Um, but yeah, it's I don't know. I just don't. I think the show could be better. I think it's a good show, but I think it could be better. And I think there are. So let's talk about Yahari. We'll digress slightly. We'll talk about Yahari.
Oh, I haven't watched this show in a while.
Um, because we've both seen all of the episodes that have come out so far.
Yes, all of the anime, none of the original source material and or the manga.
Yeah, so I know that while the original source material is ended, we don't know how it ends.
Yeah, I have no idea.
And you've said that the ending that you want to see is the ending where nobody ends up together.
Yes, except for in a plottic way, the main character, I forgot his name, Eight Man, and
Mhm.
the blonde kid, blonde dude.
Tennis kid
Yeah,
or
no,
tall kid?
the tall kid, the tall blonde kid. They should
Oh,
become
okay,
friends.
okay, okay. I see what you mean. Um, and I think that would be a good logical, like it would be a good ending for the show or the story, and I think it would be compelling. Like we care about the relationships of Eight Man and the other two girls in the
Well,
service
other
club,
three girls.
other three girls in
There's
the
a third
service
girl.
club. Like we care about them, and like we want to see him like have friends and actually like do some cool stuff and not be like a sad loner all the time. Like we care about Eight Man, and at the same time, if it does end up with like everybody understanding like I am a good enough person to stand on my own. I don't need to define who I am by somebody else, like rely on somebody else to feel good. I think it would still be a good ending. So I think that way, Yahari, in that ending that you want to see, where everybody ends up apart except for Eight Man and the blonde kid end up as friends, like nobody's in a relationship. I think it would be a very compelling and a very well done ending if that is the ending. I don't think Seen Yesterday to me has the same effect because we don't care about the relationships of these characters the way we care about the relationships in Yahari.
I see, because I do also have a sense that caring is a weird word to use.
Uh huh.
It's not that I don't care about like the relationships. It's that I'm more just kind of watching it, right? I am
Uh huh.
just an observer, and I just want to see what's going on.
hmm
but like I'm invested in them being better people, not invested in the relationships. I'm
Yeah.
invested in them as characters,
Uh huh.
but not in the whatever the fuck happens between each other. If
I would
that
agree.
makes
Yeah.
sense.
Hmm. I
And
think it does.
I can see your point in for a romance, you have to at least be, invested in the romance.
Uh huh.
Like, you can be invested in the characters and the great, but there needs to be that extra step of, wanting, at the very least, maybe having a favor of who ends up with who. Because right now
Hmm.
there's only one favor both of us have, and that's the favor of not wanting Ro and Shinaka to end up together.
Yeah.
Anything else can happen, just not that.
Right. Any other ending, I'm like, cool, solid ending. If that ending happens, I'll be kind of annoyed.
um, but yeah, it's in my view, it's still interesting. I still like it.
Hmm.
I'm not as detached from the relationships as you seem to be. I definitely have more of a favor towards Shinako and the other kid.
Requo.
Yeah, Rikuo. Mostly because Shinako's a teacher.
Uh huh. Naturally.
Naturally, and I naturally like teachers more than anyone else. Also because I think Haru's kind of annoying, but I like her Chrome more. He doesn't talk. Um,
We stay very on brand here on ABC. I say the word blasé a lot. Brandon has hots for teachers.
I mean, yeah, how it wouldn't be ABC if it wasn't this.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, I guess that's how the show's going. So we talked about the ending last week. About how that might have been a recap. We saw the same ending this week.
Yeah.
The same ending,
The
like
same the
sequence,
same ending shot for shot.
which means stuttering. It means that the ending we see, where Shinako and Riko may end up together, is either foreshadowing or
Hmm.
still Haru's worst case scenario, like something she doesn't want.
Yeah.
But we don't know just yet.
And we don't see anything in it change because we talked about it
Yeah,
before. I didn't go back and watch like episode 1, 2, 3 to see
I
like
don't think
how
it changed.
the shots change like episode to episode. But this one, I did go back and watch episode 7 and 8 at the same time to see if it like changed, if the ending changed at all, and it was shot for shot
Okay.
the same ending. So I think you might be right. It may just be foreshadowing for how like something further down the line or how the show as a whole ends or something, or it's just a Haru moment of like this is the worst possible case for her,
Yeah,
what
something
she
she's
like
scared of.
fears is going to happen. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we will see if that comes to be
Fruition.
prophetic somewhere down the line,
Mm-hmm.
but I kind of think it's more on the side of because it also features like Rico coming out of the convenience store and getting
Yeah.
shot with like love bombs. I think it's more of like a Haru, I don't want to see this happen sort of thing,
Yeah.
like a Haru dream sequence almost.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think it'll end up being prophetic, but maybe it will be. Maybe like episode 11 that'll happen somehow.
Yeah, he gets fired and goes back to the supermarket.
He'll break like $1 million camera and yeah, get kicked out of the photography studio.
A little background thing. Our main character's best friend, the blonde guy, is touring in Japan now.
Yeah, his punk band is going on a tour. We don't really know if it's like a good one or not. They may just be playing at like underground clubs and shit for
Yeah, that's
no
progress.
dollars. I mean, it is a tour. A tour is a tour. You gotta get your name out there.
And he also got his hair in the same style as Shinako, so he's blonde Shinako.
Yeah.
Uh,
Blonde male punk rocker Shinako.
yep. So that's how the story's going. We'll see what happens next episode and whether or not more drama is added. Maybe drama gets added as the show kind of starts coming to its end. We don't know, or if it continues its mellow sort of on like riding on wind sort of style,
Yeah.
like a feather in the wind, much like Forrest Gump.
Like a banded gypsy in the wind.
I don't. Once again, gypsy is a pejorative term for the Romani people, Nick.
It's okay. That was a reference to a song lyric, though.
Oh, whatever. Shut up.
That
Let
was
me
not
let.
me being. That was not me being insulting to the Romani people. That was a song lyric. So you could yell at the person who wrote the song.
It was they were from a different time.
Banded in the wind.
And
High wave winds. I forget what it's called.
who knows? Um, but anyways, that is Sing Yesterday to me. Next up is Fruits Basket. wherein Akito has shown up to the lake or the beach house. Beach
Yeah,
house. It's not like
summer whatever house. Yeah,
we get it. They're fucking rich as shit. Wish that was a Soma. I want a
I
fucking
mean
beach
they
house.
own like fucking a quarter billion acres of land. We've seen
They,
they have
they
like a
they
huge
own a
ass fucking
small town.
yeah, a Waco-esque complex.
Oh my god, it's a cult.
I mean it is.
It's a
This is
cult.
straight up like it really is a cult centered on Akito. This ends with an FBI raid, or I guess
A failed FBI raid.
Japan Special Task Force raid that ends with
Spe-
the complex burning down and the death of
JDF,
30 people.
Japanese Defense Force.
That's more of a
JDF.
military organization. I was more thinking like the Japanese police force.
Well, whatever. The FBI equivalent, the JFBI,
Yeah,
Japanese FBI.
J SWAT.
Jwat. Let's call it Jwat. It ends with Jwat, with the failed Jwat.
They go and put on their jorts.
Oh god. But yeah, it's now that we say that, it does definitely have those same kind of hallmarks as a cult, where there's a lot of abuse going on.
Hmm.
There's a personal character. There's a like cult leader in Akito.
Yeah,
Yeah, Jesus.
they're the chosen children. Yeah, it's weird. There's the fact that all of the Zodiacs are conveniently children right now. I guess Shigure and Nayame are adults.
I don't know if it's
So I guess there
convenient
are.
because like they're gonna be the Zodiac for quite a while.
Yeah, I
It's
was more implying that yeah,
oh
there's
yeah,
a reason why they're all young
yeah.
still.
Well,
Like a little bit of a culling program when they get too old.
yeah, but it doesn't work with Shigure or Ayame or Hattori
Yeah.
or the other dude.
I mean, you would expect though, like unless the Somas got cursed like all at once, like one generation was all uh like Zodiacs. So when they died off, like all of the next generation was Zodiacs. So unless somebody died randomly, like they would all be the same age, you would expect them to be like more of a range of ages.
Yeah, right now they definitely are late 20s to like
Yeah,
tens.
like yeah,
How old's Hattori?
most of them are.
Because
I
right now
don't know how old
our
anybody is.
eldest are Hattori, Ayame, and Shigure. They're our eldest.
Yeah, I believe so.
Oh, and we actually find out how the spirits are transferred. And if someone dies, like a couple of months or a couple of weeks later, when there is a new child born in the Soma family, they have a chance of becoming the next
Yeah,
the,
because there's
the
only ever
reincarnation.
one of each one.
Yep.
So as long as one is alive, or as long as all 13 are alive, or I guess 14 if you include Akito, but as long as all of them are alive, no more Zodiac Somas will ever be born.
Akito's a Zodiac. I think you had a little. I think that's a little spoiler there.
Whoops. Kind of thought we'd already talked about that.
Isn't he? She is the god, whatever, and that's what Toru is going to become. That is my guess.
Yeah.
Or Toru might fix her. Who knows?
I will say at the very least, we won't talk about your prediction further on, but Akito is the god. That's why everybody respects her and does
Right.
everything that she says, and
And to be
they
fair,
let her get away with beating people.
it's also pretty obvious. Like I don't want to be kind of like shitty about it, but it's kind of fucking obvious.
I mean, it really is. With the fact that like Akito runs the place, does all the stuff, is like
Calls
the
all the
head of
fucking
every
meetings.
yeah, like it's kind of obvious that Akito is important, and even though they haven't acknowledged the fact that the god is also represented, like I mean, you kind of expect it.
And like the very first scene we see is how it all works. There's the god, there's the 12 zodiacs, and then there's a cat outside because
Hmm.
nobody likes the cat.
Yeah.
Anyways,
There was even a moment in one of the episodes where like they talk about the banquet and they talk about the fact that the god throws the banquet, and then we see them throwing a banquet and it's Akito throwing the banquet.
basically what
So
we're
like
saying is if you didn't catch on, you're basic.
a little bit. It's been fairly heavy-handed with it at the very least, I'll say. But yeah, that little, maybe peek behind the curtain if they haven't mentioned it overtly yet. Aside, we do see, oh, something we didn't talk about. I don't think we talked about it last week
Yeah,
was we see
something in the backstory.
Yuki
Yeah.
has been involved in Toru's backstory,
Yes. So
as
Yuki
we
was
have a Toru's hat, her little gray hat that's all scuffed up. Yuki was the one that gave it to her because back in the day when Toru was just a wee little girl, she got lost, and Yuki was the one that helped her find her way home.
because I assume she got lost in the Soma state.
Well, Yuki ran away from the Soma stage. She got lost off
Oh,
somewhere
okay.
else.
Never mind.
I don't remember the context of her getting lost. I don't know
My
if it ever comes up.
it comes no. She mentions why she was lost earlier.
Okay.
When she was talking to Kyo. But the reason I thought that she was lost in the Soma state was because Yuki was there. But if he
Yeah.
was had run
That
away,
that was it was a brief moment. I maybe last episode or the very beginning of this episode. But yeah, Yuki. It was when he was being abused by Akito, and Akito was telling him like, "You're worthless. You'll never do anything." When he was still a young kid and hadn't fully been brainwashed by it yet, he broke out of the Soma state. And there's like a short scene where we see him like jumping the fence and like running
yeah,
away.
that makes
It was a
sense.
pretty brief scene, and it didn't really tie into anything else in the shot, so I can definitely understand. Like, it was probably 5 seconds altogether, so I can definitely understand if you missed it. It didn't seem very important, but yeah, it was. Yuki ran away for one day and met Toru somewhere out and about in that day.
Which means my prediction was wrong. I believe I predicted that it was Kyo's hat. Because
Hmm.
why else would he like be sharing the flashback?
Yep,
That was my thought, but it was a ruse. It was a
it was a
bamboozle.
red herring,
Yeah, it was a red cat, orange cat. Is it an
but
orange
Kyo
cat?
does seem affected by that hat all the way
He
back in
knows about it. Yeah.
yeah, back in I think the funeral episode was the first time he saw it,
At the very least,
or not the funeral episode, the going to the gravesite episode.
yeah, he knows about the hat, and he is attached to the hat somehow. We don't
Yeah,
know yet. That is something we'll find out later.
so there may be more to do with the hat. Because she did get it when she was just a young little girl, and there's plenty more of growing up that Toru had to do for her to have potentially met Kyo.
Wait, doesn't she lose the hat at some point? Well, was
Um,
that the flashback? She loses the hat, and then someone else finds it for her.
I don't remember.
Oh, okay,
I don't remember what we've seen yet.
right.
But there's certainly some connection of Kyo to the hat that we will explore somewhere down the line. Because he seems affected by it, so we know that there's something there.
Yes.
And this show, unlike the other shows, doesn't leave plot behind.
We don't know
Everything
that, okay? Because the
I know
cat
that.
could have nothing to do. Yeah, you know that now because you read ahead.
I didn't read ahead because of this. I read ahead way back when.
Yes.
Because of the original series.
I'm just saying.
Before I knew that I was reading ahead. Before I was just reading on.
Right. I'm giving the benefit of that to both shows because there is more to the story than what we've seen so far. So, like, at the time, like, the cat couldn't have come back.
That's
Anyways,
true.
um, talking about Kyo at this point, there's a little scene where Yuki is watching from the outside with Haru on the inside after all the kids have like their fucking fun. They're all running around, and Momiji, Kisa, and little bitch, little fucking lamb bitch.
Hero.
I'm not gonna call him by his name.
Okay,
Are all
that's
sleeping, and Tori kind of puts a little drape or drapes them over with a little blanket, and we see Kyo and her kind of being very fatherly, motherly. I don't know if that's gonna be if that's foreshadowing, but it's definitely something there. And Yuki's like a little reserved about it. He doesn't really emote, but with that, there might be a sense of jealousy there.
I mean, Yuki rarely emotes. We
Only when
also
he's
get to
around
learn
her.
some about, or Toru gets to learn some about Kyo's home life with his estranged father and his dead mother.
And his mother died because of an accident, not
Yeah,
because he killed herself, which is exactly what he's gonna say.
yeah,
Which I believe she committed suicide, right?
I believe so.
Right. I think.
I believe that was said.
Yeah. I believe that was said, but Kyo implies that he was the cause of it. Well, no,
Mhm.
everyone else implies that he was the cause of it
Kyo believes he was the cause of it, at the very
because he
least.
was told by all
Yeah,
the other
by
somas.
other people.
Kyo, you dumb bitch! What? Why are you such a weird
At,
kid?
at the funeral, which is the greatest time to tell somebody it's their
Yeah,
fault.
God, this shows something that has the shittiest fucking people ever, while also
Yeah,
having the best people ever.
it really does.
God,
Again, the Soma family. It's like a fucking cult.
they're all fucked up. They're all fucking assholes.
They are all fucking assholes. But on the side, Yuki goes on a little walk and runs into Akito, which we saw before. Has a conversation or not a conversation. Akito whispers sweet nothings to Yuki, which
Yeah,
basically sends him spiraling.
basically something's like sweet nothing's like, hey, you're alone again. Wow, you fucking suck, you loser.
Nobody will ever love you.
You'll always
Everything
be
you
alone.
like will turn to dust. Yeah,
The only person who loves you is me. Once again, real cult shit.
yeah. Let's go back to the bad touch room. It's really not good.
At this point, Akito may as well be the Tiger King. Um, uh, we're a month late on that joke.
We really are. But in classic ABC fashion, we're either miles ahead of everybody else or
Okay,
way behind
hold on.
everybody else. There's
Wow,
very little in between.
miles ahead in what? How? When have we ever been miles ahead?
Uh, the only time I can think of was Doki Doki Literature Club, which
Oh my god.
we talked about doing like a month before it got super popular.
We never did it.
We never did it.
I
And there
think
was
I,
like a solid like month before it came like super popular and was all over YouTube. We found it
yeah.
on the Steam store. We were like, we should do this. We should all read through this because we saw like it had like romance, like whatever fun
Tragedy,
comedy,
psychological.
psychological torture. And I was like, this seems weird. We should do this.
You're right.
No idea what it was about. It was like a month before it got popular. All of a sudden, it got like super huge. We talked about sitting down and doing a read through of it. Never got around to it.
Yeah.
So
Oh my god, you're right. All right. Anyways, also Megalobox.
I
I'll
was
come
more
out
talking
well.
about the ABC shows that we picked that are super good. Megalobox was very written off before it started. But back to this show. After Akito whispers his sweet nothings to Yuki, Shigure comes by the house to pick up the children to go off to eat food with Akito,
Yep.
which is actually just code for Akito to abuse them some more.
Yeah. Just fucking say mean things to them.
Yeah. So Toru and Kyo have to stay behind because Toru's an outsider and Kyo's the cat, which is basically just the same as being an outsider.
They're
So
racist.
they stay behind at the house. They basically are. They stay behind at the house while everybody else goes off to be tortured by Akito.
Kisa is very
Everybody,
sad. She doesn't want
yeah, everybody's
Akito.
pretty sad about what's about to happen.
There's only one person who's not really sad. I think that's Momichi. Momichi's kind of like a little solemn. He feels a little. He's mellowed out. He's not his usual like super peppy squeaky voice
Hmm.
self. He kind of actually has a moment of like trying to kind of make the kids feel better. But Momichi doesn't really give a shit about Akito, and I love that about him. He's like, yeah, fuck him, fuck that dude, or fuck
because
her.
because Momichi's problems all deal with like
Yeah,
his
her mother.
parents. Yeah, her mother
He's the only
or
one that
his
hasn't
mother.
been abused by Akito, it seems.
Yeah,
So he just like fuck her, whatever. Who gives a shit about her? I've
she
got
just
other things to
ignore.
deal with, like
He's
my
got
mom
regular
hating me.
abandonment. He's got regular abandonment issues rather than super advanced cult weird Akito issues.
Haru is mostly pissed off because he Akito fucked over Ren,
Hmm.
who hasn't shown up yet. But Shigure talks about whether or not Ren has come. So there might be some extra shit about that. We'll see.
Yeah.
And we'll get to find out what the fuck happened between her and Ren and Shigure at some point.
Maybe we'll find out.
Yeah. But
So, but then
Hattori's wise.
we go
Sorry.
off, and Shigure and Hattori have a little conversation. Then we go to see Akito, as Akito basically just drapes herself all over Shigure for a little while, and then has a good laugh about like, I went to go talk to Yuki. I fucked him up. Ha 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 ha.
Well, he drapes
Aren't I
himself
so
over
cool?
Hattori.
Yeah. I'm sorry. She talks to Shigure, but drapes herself all over
She
Hattori
drapes herself over everyone.
because now Hattori is the favorite after Shigure, I don't know, ran away or was mean or something.
I thought the other dude was. I thought the chicken was still the favorite.
It's very ambiguous who Shigure or who Akito's favorite is at any time. Some people have told us it's Shigure. Sometimes Shigure tells us it's Satori. Other people have said that it's the chicken dude. So it's sort of ambiguous who the favorite actually is of Akito. Akito says that it's Yuki.
We know it's not Ayame because he fucking dipped out. He's like, nah, fuck
Yeah,
this shit.
Ayame bailed.
See ya.
Ayame's happy doing Ayame things in wherever he is.
Making dresses,
The
making
middle
some
of
nice
fashion
fucking dresses.
district. Yeah. But yeah, Akito basically laughs like a crazy cult leader about like, I had a conversation with Yuki. He's such a little shithead. Why won't he just come back to me and let me torture him some more? I'm the only one who ever loves him. Um, and then after she has a good laugh about that, she decides like, oh, I'm gonna go see the other children now. Time to go have some more fun.
We have a nice words. We have some nice exchanges between Hattori and Shigure, where Hattori's he knows that Shigure is on something. Shigure is trying to do some sketchy shit
Yeah.
about it.
So they just saw Akito basically admit to doing a whole bunch of sketchy shit and then planning to do a whole bunch of more sketchy shit. And Hattori basically says like, I'm envious that you actually decide to do something about this. Like,
Which
I'm just sitting here and doing nothing and letting this happen, and you're at least trying to do something, and that's the good thing to do.
this is what makes me feel that Shigure doesn't like Akito. Because Hattori definitely seems like he just does not want anything to do with Akito. Which makes me feel even more like Shigure's whatever he's doing is something that will screw Akito over.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
or once again maybe take one for the team.
Uh-huh.
But we still don't know.
Do you think Shigure wants Toru to become the god? Because that's what your prediction is fully.
Yes.
Do you think
Um,
that he specifically right now wants her to be, or is that just it'll incidentally happen?
I think he does want her to be. He already kind of like saw something in Toru.
Uh-huh.
Um, because he is trying to have her help. Both what's his faces, Yuki and Kyo, and he's having them heal them basically, and also
Hmm.
trying to help her out. And part of Hattori is like part of what Hattori says is that he needs to be that Shigure should be nicer to Kyo and Yuki, most because I believe Hattori knows that Toru will be taken away from them. Because if she becomes the god, then they can't like get with her or something like that. Basically, if she becomes the god, uh, she can no longer be with them. This thought came to me as I was talking.
That's you're
Uh,
working through it out loud.
yeah, it's rubber ducking.
Yeah.
But basically, like, my theory is Shigure is trying to get Tori to become the god, and her becoming the god will cause a sort of. There's a reason why she shouldn't become the god, basically, even though she might be okay with it. There's a downside to it, and that downside will negatively affect Kyo and Yuki, and that's why Shigure should be nicer to them.
Okay.
Maybe Shigure's trying to get with Toru. I don't know.
That'd be a weird ending.
His whole thing is I'm gonna marry the god, and
We were
incidentally
already
Toru becomes the god.
uncomfortable when Ren showed up and they made weird eyes at each other.
Yeah, but
Uh,
we'll see.
but yeah, and then it ends with Toru and Yuki have a little moment out on the beach as they watch the shooting stars together.
Yep.
And Yuki thinks to himself about how Toru basically saved his life by showing him that somebody out there actually needs him and he
Yep.
can feel good about himself.
It was
So,
close to a confession, but he didn't actually say the words.
yeah.
Even then,
But
it's
we do
more.
get a little bit of Yuki fan service
We also get
where we keep his hat in the ring for who will end up with Toru.
yeah, we got a lot of Kyo fan service where they were basically being mom and dad to the fucking gremlins.
Yep.
Well, the gremlin and the lamb and the and the tiger.
I thought the gremlin was Hero.
Um, I feel like Momiji's the gremlin.
That's fair.
Overall very innocuous, but still kind of like mischievous. And
Mhm.
then Hero's just the unwanted stepchild.
I like how it's unwanted.
Toru would want him. Kyo's just like, get this kid out of my sight.
He's not just the redheaded stepchild, he's the unwanted redheaded stepchild.
If he was redheaded, he would be Kyo's. Therefore, he could still be unwanted, even if he wasn't stepchild. Whatever. Anyways, yeah, Yuki's still in the ring. He's still in it. We'll see
Yep.
what happens. We still need to find out what's going on with Haru and Ren. Momiji has no like partners. Shigure has, I don't know. Hopefully not Ren. Hopefully it's the fucking his fucking editor. Hattori has that one girl that he was walking with last episode, but also maybe the teacher. I don't know what's going on with that. And then Ayame has the whoever walks in the store basically,
Yeah.
and then the
Male
maid.
or female, whoever
Yeah.
walks in the store. Mostly Shigure though, back home.
Ooh yeah.
Um
That's who Shigure has. He has Ayame.
that is a very good point. Um oh, there was something else, but I no longer remember it. But yeah, that was Fruits Basket. Um oh, I'm
Was it
really
the
annoyed now.
pancakes? Was it the Japanese pancakes they made and then ate and then actually didn't actually see them?
No, it was not the Japanese pancakes. Oh god,
Go. Work through it,
it
Nick. Work
had to
through
have
it.
been some part of plot that they set up that we haven't discussed yet.
I
Um,
believe Ren's gonna show up because Shigure talked about her.
uh,
The watermelon splitting.
oh, Tor's dad.
Oh right.
Tor's dad was a character we brought up but haven't discussed in any way. We've seen her mom, we know like what happened to her mom and all that.
Maybe towards Monzasoma.
But we have not. I mean, we've seen Toru's mom.
Oh, sorry. Maybe Toru's dad's Sasoma, but that doesn't make sense because they would have taken his name.
Um,
Wait,
they would have taken her name.
hold on. Does Toru use her mom's name or her dad's name?
I don't
Actually, I
remember.
think we know the dad's name. Never mind.
But we have not discussed anything about like what's going on with him.
Well, because he's dead.
And I bring it up specifically because Hero did specifically 2 episodes ago, 1 episode ago,
Yeah,
whenever it was. I guess 1 episode ago.
one.
Specifically asked like, you always talk about your mom. Why don't you ever talk about your dad?
Well, because
And
I
like,
didn't
you have
know
the
him.
picture of your mom, but you don't have a picture of your dad. So have not in any way talked about like what's going on with Toru's dad, and that is something that's sort of out there on the horizon of what is going on with Toru's dad. Why is he not in the picture? I think I
Isn't
think
it
we've
because he's
mentioned
dead?
before. Yeah, okay, I
Yeah, we
was
know he's
thinking that
dead.
yeah, we know that he's dead, but we haven't talked anything about like who he was, what he did,
Right,
what
because like,
happened to him.
it, well, it is that to talk about. Like, he died pretty early on in her life, so like, of course, she wouldn't really have that connection, like, because
Uh
he
huh.
just wasn't around, and it sucks, but like, he wasn't there. If anything, she might have more of a connection between to her dad through her mom, and like through what her mom said and stuff like that. Like, what kind of person that her dad was to her mom. That's probably what is more important to her as someone who helped her out a lot and kind of maybe uh, um, a person who helped her mom out.
Hmm.
Basically, that's I guess the extent of what we might get, unless there's like some weird so much stuff that's going on with her dad, which I was kind of guessing about, but I doubt that's the progression of the show. But we'll see. But in my opinion, I don't think that that's super important. Like
Uh
he
huh.
died early. Oh well. But we'll see if he actually is important and might have like a bigger role to play in the backstory.
But yeah, that was all of Fruits Basket. I believe that sums up all of the loose ends as it comes to plot lines that we still have sort of dangling out there to continue on with in the future. Um,
Or just
there
completely
wasn't like
dropped.
a preview for the next episode or anything. I guess there's never really a preview, but
There's like
presumably we're going to deal
words.
with the fallout of Akito and the Soma dinner that they're about to have.
It was.
Because presumably it's not going to end well.
It's a dinner. I thought it was a meeting.
Well,
I
I
guess
mean,
it's a
I'm assuming
dinner.
they went out for food. I guess it could also be a dinner, or it could just be a whatever, um, a
Oh,
dinner
luncheon.
or meeting. It could be
Yeah.
both. I don't think they conclusively say one way or another. If they did, I forgot. But anyways, there is four impressionable children out there. We're probably going to come back to Black Haru and Kisa crying and Hiro upset and Momiji depressed. So
Toru's gonna walk into the house, and it's gonna be Donald Glover walking into the. I think it was like the fifth time in that community episode where everything's on
yeah,
fire, people are beating each other up.
it's gonna be not good. That is a very accurate depiction of what it's gonna be like. Tori's gonna have her work cut out for her as resident therapist for the Soma kids.
Yeah, adopted mom,
Yeah.
adopted god. But
So
we'll see what happens with the show. It's still fantastic. It's great. I love it. The emotional moments still hit hard. Um, yeah, there's not much else to say about it. Nick, what would you like to sell out to today?
um hmm,
Just being play. Oh right, you mostly fumblefuck your way through it,
I do. I
much like how
almost
we
always.
bumblefuck our way through the show.
Most everything we do. Yeah. I guess today I'm going to sell out to one of our
Lysol,
friends from all the way back to. No, I sold to Lysol already.
part
I'm going
two.
to sell it to one of our friends from all the way back in high school. I'm going to sell
What?
it to K Kwok,
Huh?
aka Kevin Kwok.
The big quack?
Uh, yeah. So I'm going to sell it to you, K Kwok, wherever you are out in the world doing the startup thing
Is he
or
still doing
doing
the
your
dancing
own
thing?
thing. I don't think so. He
Okay,
moved on to something else. I figured out where he was and then I forgot about it, and I don't remember what it's called
I think
anymore.
you told me.
It took way too long to find it. But yeah, he's out doing something tech related, probably, because he loves it, even though he's absolutely insane in the
Off in
membrane.
Silicon Valley.
Yeah. So
He's just
he's
gonna make
probably
the
out
next
doing
Pied
something
Piper.
weird. I mean, he really could be. He is slightly deranged in the most delightful way, but it's very much a he will either end up a billionaire or living under a bridge in a box. But either
Or
way, he'll
with
have a
a
blast
gold
doing
digging
it.
wife.
Yeah, or with a gold digging wife. I feel really bad about that girl too. I spread that vicious rumor about her with very little to back it up. I sort of stand by it too.
Anyways, that's a
Um,
story for another time.
that's a story for another time. But yeah, I'm gonna give my shout out to Kate Kwok. Reach out to us if you somehow magically hear this shout out, even though you won't because we have no audience. But I'm gonna give my shout out to Kate Kwok for doing his thing
Awesome.
and let us know what you're doing so we can talk about it and understand what you're doing.
Well, today, since I'm still selling out to music, I will sell out to the song "Yellow" by Zoe, a Mexican band that's been around since the fucking like early 2000s. Yellow is a song from their 2018 album called Aztlan. Aztlan being the kind of like the originating place of the Aztecs. Yellow is once again a breakup song because that's all I'm selling out to this season.
Okay.
And it's basically just about working through a breakup and basically being bitter about it and making sure that whoever you broke up with has a rough time and laughing about it. Well, not really laughing about it, but pitying them for breaking up with you. So there's still that bitterness.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's actually a great song. It's very synthy. The music video is very strange. It's about a man in like a white hat with like a white robe talking to aliens in the desert. It's all very
Okay.
strange, but it's a great song. It's very fun, interesting music video, and I really like it. So have at thee. And that
Right, well
concludes.
then, yeah, that concludes ABC. We've done it up for another episode 98, I believe we said at the beginning.
99. Next episode will be
99.
100. We will not do anything special.
We will still not do anything special. But yeah, thanks for continuing to not be here. You've been a wonderful audience of occasionally giving us messages and letting us talk about whether or not you're not real. Hope we don't insult you.
Well, I'm going to
We are
insult
not
you.
very good YouTubers, so we've got nothing else to say. All that other shit is bullshit. But thanks for being here.